Hello, welcome to Art Related Noise, the podcast of the Enter Gallery in Brighton. My guest today is someone that we've already had on the podcast, and he's a really popular artist at the gallery as well. It's Joe Webb. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Stuart. How you doing?
Very good, mate. Very good. I was just saying, we were just talking just beforehand that the last time we did, we met. It was in person, and it was in Lewes because that's where you sort of live, close to there.
Yep.
But we haven't been able to do it this time because of whatever reason. But how are things going for you down in that part of the world?
Yeah, it's okay. It's all a bit odd, isn't it? It's a bit weird, I suppose. Kind of got used to it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Like I was saying, before we started recording, I was in today and I had to try and order a coffee and I had to download an app to do it and I couldn't get the app to work, and in the end I gave up. It was too difficult. It was, it was kind of like a weird situation, dystopian future, Black Mirror type vibe. So I just thought I was just going to go home and
just make your own coffee.
Yeah,
that's it. Easier.
Yeah, easier. I don't have to wear a mask and have an app. Yeah.
How have you found it generally? Just in general throughout lockdown and with your artistic practice, and how have you managed throughout it?
Not bad. Surprisingly okay, really. It was. I mean, March and April was pretty scary, I think, for everyone. So I kind of just took time out and tried to get my head around the whole situation. I think everyone was doing that really, and just was in kind of a bit of disbelief for a while, I suppose. But I thought, right, well, no one's going to be buying art at the moment. So I kind of just started working on new things, and I put together a few sort of more affordable, sort of smaller prints, and I put those out in sort of May, I think.
Yeah.
And I think by then everyone had had enough being indoors, and they were looking at their walls and thinking, right, well, the world isn't going to end, I think, so I might buy some art. So suddenly I started getting all these internet sales, and I've just found, since then, the whole online sale thing and the whole online communication of the art has gone, tenfold, really. It just took off. So we've kind of been fast forwarded into this new world.
I suppose you've had to adapt, haven't you? And did you find it quite a creative time when you were forced into that, different way of thinking, of different space?
Yeah, kind of, because you're kind of like forced to stay at home, whereas before you'd find all sorts of distractions, go out for something, or just find other things to do. Whereas when you're just confined to your house, it's kind of like, well, what am I going to do? I'm supposed to be an artist, so I should make something, I suppose. So it kind of it brought me inside, literally inside the house, and just worked on new pieces and try to figure it out what to do next, really.
So I always remember our last discussion, and you did talk about how you gained some of your insight, really, and that was by going around in this case Lewes. You'd go into secondhand stores, you go into all bookshops, and you're looking all the time. There's always something that might catch your eye, and then you think, okay, well, this might work for a piece that you'd had in your mind's eye like a couple of years ago, but it's always there, and it's coming to the surface because you're walking around seeing stuff.
Yeah. So that kind of got replaced by eBay. So where I couldn't walk around looking for stuff to make collages out. I started browsing eBay instead and getting things like that. And the whole delivery thing took off, sending art out and bringing stuff in. So the postman's just been like back and forth every day with a new thing. So it was interesting. I kind of tried to avoid the whole digital side of it, but I've been forced into it. So, but yeah, it's kind of what it's the same sort of thing. That if anything, I can browse the whole world supply of magazines now and books and things like that. So it's not a bad thing.
No, and would that have been something that you wouldn't have done before then, or would you have defaulted to walking around and seeing what you could physically see?
Yeah, I preferred not to use computers because I kind of wanted it to be like that the collages are handmade, so I wanted to find the actual things through sheer chance really by going out into the world and finding them. But when you think about it, it's a similar thing with eBay anyway. You're looking, you don't know what you're going to find. You're just browsing through, but it's on a computer instead of um, going through a box of stuff. So
Mm.
I kind of convinced myself it's all right.
You managed to, at least you managed to get that inspiration. That's, it might be a
Yeah,
different medium through which you're getting the
yeah,
inspiration, but at least you're able to sort of find it and then continue the work that you're doing.
yeah. And I've got a painting studio down the road. It's 5 minutes from my house, so I've been going down there and painting as well. And you know, um, that is so. I mean, the like my lifestyle was always like a bit like lockdown anyway, because I'm going off to the painting studio. I'm indoors working, and then it hasn't changed that much. It's just a bit more restricted, I suppose.
It's funny because you talk about your painting practice there, and that's something that I did notice that you were doing a lot more of. And maybe because I always think of you as a collage artist first, and maybe that's my bad. But you're highly skilled painter as well, and I've seen some of the stuff that you've been putting out, based on your collage, images that you've been putting together, and they're remarkable, paintings, remarkable. Is that something you've got back into
Yeah,
more
definitely. Yeah,
recently?
yeah. I've got into since the whole lockdown things, and really in the last few months more than ever. So um, I'm making less and less collages and moving more into painting. And I'm just going, I don't know why. I just have. It kind of seemed like a natural progression, maybe.
And would the paintings always be based on collages that you've done, or would you choose, just a
No,
different series of topics?
they have been. They've been based on doing of basically replicating the collages. But then the last couple of months, I wanted to have more of a surprise myself and not really know what I was going to paint and come up with on that day. So I would have scan in a load of material and have a load of magazines, and then I would go through it in the studio and then paint in a character, and then I would look at it and then come back to it the next day and maybe bring in another element which I hadn't thought about before. So how it could like riff off of the character that I've just painted. So the background would then go in, and then that would be more of a surprise. Like it worked the same way as making a collage. It would be more of a exploration and a more of a surprise rather than a pre-planned thing, which can be a bit of a bit of a dry sort of straightforward experience. So yeah, I've been enjoying doing that. Seems to make sense. It's the same way as I work with collages. So yeah, I'm going to just keep doing that for a bit.
And have there been any particular themes that have started emerging? I remember the last time that we talked, and I know that your work in general, there's an underlying sort of theme of concern for the environment, for example, and this thing about noticing what's around you. Is that still running through your work?
It is. I suppose it's more like with all the situation going on, it's more like looking at like the Wish You Were Here print. It's kind of like looking at the world from afar and going, what's happening, and sort of coming to terms with it, and sort of reminding ourselves that the world is quite an amazing place, and then at the same time there's all this turmoil going on, and it's kind of just an experience of every day, really, like just being a person on earth. And yeah, the paintings are more like becoming more traditional now, so they're more like reflections and light, and I'm sort of trying to find a way to bring out like I'm painting a lot of like sunsets and reflections in the water, and I'm just trying to use the paint in different ways, to find a way to express that kind of like real, when you look at a really amazing sunset, I want that to be captured somehow, but through paint. So it's getting more and more traditional in a way.
But again, just a different medium of
Yeah,
stepping back and this reflection. You said, I think the quote that you used last time, you want people to, you like to stop and look at the world, and I'm paraphrasing here, but just take it in and not rush by. In some of the work that you do when you present that, and maybe that's a good example of the Wish You Were Here print, which you can see just behind you. Where you've got two people, chilling out on deck chairs on the moon, I think, isn't it? Just maybe watching the world go by.
Yeah, and it takes on different meanings. Like with the situation now, it's like, let's get away from the world. It's all gone a bit mad, but at the same time, it's kind of like looking on with like awe and amazement at the same time. So it's like, it can be read in different ways. It's it's kind of like a personal thing. It's about feelings and just being here and trying to figure it all out.
So tell me more about the print then, because you've got it's your latest print release with the Enter Gallery in Brighton, and it's a print that you've released before, but you've reimagined it now, and it's very different, and it's an exclusive release as well. So can you tell me something about this work?
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of have history with this image with Enter Gallery. It's kind of got the whole Brighton thing, the deck chairs down at Brighton, the beach. So it kind of has this connection with Enter Gallery, and we wanted to try and find a new way to present it. So I've kind of found these new printing techniques that I sort of worked on over lockdown as well, where we embed glitter into the varnish, a varnish that goes onto it. So it kind of that's it all in the background. It kind of captures this really, really sparkly, lovely sort of nighttime feel. And then we've just sort of tried different colorways and a different size, a larger size. So it's kind of, we just wanted to find a way to sort of bring this in now, especially at the moment, the way things are. We just felt like it was a very apt piece to sort of reinvent and to reintroduce.
Tell me about your relationship with Enter Gallery, and tell me how that began and sort of what you've done with them.
Enter Gallery was kind of like they were sort of gallery that I noticed when I started redoing my art about 10 years ago, and I used to walk past the gallery when it was Art Republic, and now I Enter Gallery, and I used to look in the window there and go in there and kind of sort of have a look round and sort of realize that they were kind of pioneering this sort of limited edition print thing. They were kind of bringing art and affordable art to everyone, and it was slap bang in the center of Brighton. So it kind of, I kind of opened my eyes to that whole world, which I didn't know a lot about. And I saw that they had like Peter Blake and Damien Hirst, and then they were also bringing in younger artists and less established artists into the gallery as well, local artists. So it kind of encouraged me to come up with some art, which I'd stopped doing for a while. I'd been to art college, then left, did some art for a bit, and then I stopped for a few years. And so it's really thanks to that gallery, it kind of encouraged that inspired me to go back to making art. And then I brought some prints that I'd made into the gallery and had a meeting with them, and we tried a few out, and they did pretty well. And then it just blossomed from there, really. I kept bringing new stuff in, and so it's been like this sort of loop of like feedback from them and seeing what works, and then I'm going back and making more art, and then trying different print techniques and different editions and different size prints. And so it's been a really good good, and it's right there in Brighton on my doorstep. You know, so it's kind of like this really lucky thing that it's there. That's kind of encouraged me to get back into art, really. So yeah, it's been good.
And it's funny you say about the pioneering of the prints in particular, because you're really known for your prints now. And you do release a number of different editions and whatnot, and they always do really well. And is it because of walking past that gallery that random time that you thought, actually, you know what, my art could
Yeah,
really suit this?
yeah. I mean, thinking back, I was thinking about this earlier, and it's like, yeah, it was that, because I didn't really know a lot about the whole world of limited edition prints, and I think it was something that a handful of galleries, sort of really embraced, and it caught on, and people started to understand what they were, rather than just like a poster. This is a piece of art in itself. They're limited edition. There's a certain value to them, and but they're attainable for most people. And I mean, the gallery lets people pay monthly if they, or they have prints that are a few £100 to a few thousand. But um, they I see prints as kind of like artwork that's accessible for everyone, and that's kind of what drew me to it. And Enter Gallery were really a big part of making that world popular. So yeah.
Is that important for you then, to have art that can be accessible to the average Joe on the street, really, that can have a piece of your work,
Yeah,
in
for
their own
sure.
home?
For sure. I mean, you've kind of got sort of elite world of art where it's unattainable for most people, as far as like paintings and sculptures and things. They can be so, out of people's reach. So to be able to produce a print, and I try and keep my print prices on the lower scale of things, so they are affordable, and they do tend to sell well. And maybe I think hopefully the price is part of that. And then they tend to sort of then resell. Some of them resell, and they have gone up in value. So there's that kind of investment angle to them as well. So yeah, I just like them. And also, you can have one picture could go to one person, or you can have one picture that goes to 100 people, and it's like it gets shared more there, and more people will see it, and more people will be able to enjoy it, and their friends will be able to see it, and then know about my work and other artists' work, and then it goes like I want to say viral. Maybe I shouldn't say viral at the moment, but
No.
it becomes like a virus. It goes a viral thing. Yeah, viral art. Yeah, for a viral time.
What a great descriptor! I could never have come up with that myself, but it's a good one. So, I mean, you're right, though, aren't you? I mean, you've got more people that can enjoy the work, which is a really important thing, I suspect, for an artist, and the fact that they can have a collection perhaps as well of different types of work. If there's an artist that somebody really enjoys, someone like yourself, who likes your particular style, you can really easily decorate a home of that, or sort of find a particular taste, and keep investing in different artists, perhaps of the nature that people are
And
looking at.
one piece can lead to another, so they can collect one of mine, then they'll see another. They'll go to the gallery to collect that, and they'll go, oh, I like that artist as well, and they'll sort of get that, and then it kind of like is the momentum of it like carries on, and people become collectors of art, and people who wouldn't have thought they could have collected art can. So yeah, it's just a really good thing, I guess.
Well, that's the thing with your art, in the Enter Gallery. There's all art all over the place. To be honest with you, I mean, it's just like, what am I going to look at next? So you might look at one, and then you look at another, and your eye just gets drawn all over the place.
Yeah. They sort of hang them right to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
I just wanted to just go back to the wish you were here print, because you talked a little bit about the you know, the design a bit and the thought process a little bit. But I just wanted to explore that a bit more, because this piece, and maybe I've just been thinking about the conversation so far. There's a sense of nostalgia to it as well.
Yeah.
You know, with the looking at the you know, the moon, the deck chairs, you know, the links, seems to be a little bit of like a nostalgia to better times in some way. That's what's something's resonating with me in terms of that. Was that going through your mind, or was there anything else going through your mind when you thought, actually, you know, I want to redo this one?
Yeah, I mean, people just read it in different ways, and it has got that kind of 60s nostalgia on holiday, you know, that kind of holiday thing where you're relaxing and you're taking in the world and enjoying it and stopping everything, and it kind of has that element to it. And then it has the element of taking stock of the situation and the world as it is now, and as it was, and will it ever come back to being normal again? Will we ever be able to go away and travel again, and, you know, as we used to be able to, at least, you know, we will, but will it ever be the same again? You know, it's kind of, there's all of that in there, hopefully, which I guess is I mean, people will just read it that whatever the situation that is personal to them, I guess. You know, I can't guess how everyone's going to read it, but for me, it's just it's all of those things.
I suppose everyone has their own story, doesn't it? I mean, you know, you're just giving that example now. You know, will we ever be able to go in a coffee shop and not wear a mask again? You know, as you were saying right at the beginning of this, you know, this conversation, and, you know, so yeah, I suppose that's the beauty of art, isn't it? You can look at a piece, you know, like that, and you can take your own meaning, you can take your own inference from it.
Yeah, and, you know, it kind of has that. Pictures can express feelings and emotions without necessarily having a very like literal explanation. It's more like a feeling of an overall sort of, it could be like a slightly sad feeling, or it could be kind of like a hopeful feeling. It's just kind of that vibe of that you get from a picture. It kind of has this sort of energy which hopefully connects with whoever's looking at it. That particular design definitely seems to connect with a lot of people.
It's been a popular one, hasn't it? It's definitely been a popular one.
Sure.
Joe, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for talking again.
Okay.
Art Related Noise.